What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for Sports. All right. So Shaquille O'Neal, in my opinion, has become a lot more comfortable in his role as an NBA analyst over the last few years. Shaquille O'Neal has been retired from the game since 2011. And over time, I've noticed a change in his analysis. Initially, when he retired, I thought that he could be a little bit vague in his criticisms as far as whom he's directing his criticism toward, unlike Barkley, who could be a lot more in your face. And I thought Shaq earlier on, 2011, 12, 13, 14 maybe, I thought he was too close to his playing years and too close to the generation of players that were playing at that time. Even though he was an analyst, he still knew a lot of those guys. He still played with a lot of those guys. So I think he was an analyst who still had a baby toe stuck in the NBA, if you know what I mean. But now, here we are in 2022. The guys that are playing today, not to say he didn't play against some of the older players, but a lot of these guys now in the league, Shaq never saw game time with, you know. So as he moves further and further away from his NBA career, that connectivity to the league as a player is diminished. Barkley's been diminished. Barkley ain't played 22 goddamn years. Kenny Smith, forget about it, 25 years. So even though I think Kenny's a little bit more sympathetic toward the player, Barkley and Shaq are becoming more and more outspoken in shit they don't like. So I'm going to get to it. Recently in a podcast, Shaq said that in his opinion, the term superstar is used too much. And I agree 1,000%. Yes, that fucking term is used too much. This is what Shaq had to say. He said, quote, and this is actually an excerpt from his podcast, the big podcast with Shaq. He said, quote, I don't know what makes a superstar these days. Because y'all thought Ben Simmons was a superstar. I don't know the criteria for great players anymore. I don't know what the criteria for an MVP is. I don't know what the criteria for a superstar is. And then later on, after reading a tweet saying that only LeBron James, KD, and Steph Curry were superstars, he said that Giannis must be there and agreed with co-host Nichelle Turner when she mentioned Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. Shaq said, quote, a superstar is somebody that you pay to see. Somebody that will give you a great show. I guess KD is a superstar. Moreover, Shaq mentioned former players who carried their teams and did everything they could to win on a regular basis, saying that they are the blueprint of what a superstar should be. I've seen Michael Jordan. I've seen Kobe. I've seen D. Wade. I've seen Penny Hardaway. I've seen LeBron. I've seen Kevin Johnson. I've seen Akeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Tim Duncan. If you ain't doing what they did or close to what they did, don't be looking for me to call you a superstar. I've seen it all. I've played with made men, Embiid, made men. These little abject failures that you all talking about now, get them out of my face. I don't think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, while I do sometimes think that Shaq forgets that for a while he was an abject failure in the 90s, but still, when the opportunity presented itself in the early 2000s, when he got to the championship round, after failing when he was 23 in 1995 against the Rockets, after that scenario, Shaq never again failed to live up to his potential in those situations. And I'm glad he also mentioned two names. because this bolsters my opinion that Kevin Johnson and Penny Hardaway are Hall of Fame level talents. Now, I know because of the fact that they missed so many of their prime due to either injuries or pretty much that, injuries. Injuries ruined Penny Hardaway's career. Injuries derailed KJ's career, plus some scandal when it comes to KJ, excuse me. So he's never going to get into the Hall of Fame. I know these guys aren't going to get into the Hall of Fame. But before the injuries, these were players that were on the trajectory of going to the Hall of Fame. And they were superstars. So I'm glad Shaq said that shit. Because there's a lot of players today, man, like, I be hearing people say, and I'm going to say some names. NBA Lakers legend Derek Fisher. Huh? I don't remember them calling Michael Cooper a legend. I don't remember them calling Jamal Wilkes a legend for the Lakers. So, Norm Nixon legend? More so. So, why the fuck are you... You see what I'm saying? Like, they use these terms too much. Chicago Bulls legend Steve Kerr. What? Yeah. So I agree with him, man. These terms are used way too liberally. If you want to say, Ben Simmons is a really good player, okay, that's fine. Superstar? Nah. No. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.